Ja, ja. Inloggen. Oh.
Warning, core temperature rising.
Skojar du eller? Det där var pinsamt. Så kollar vi Easy Allies. Där gick det ju. Okej. Lös in vinster. 3, 2, 1. Nej. Åh nej. Åh nej. I och för sig jag har bara gånger 2. Fan det gör ingenting om jag tappar den boosten. Ursäkta? Här tar handen. Kling.
Access granted. Gas leak stopped.
Det är allt.
Demonic threat reduced by 25%.
Och sen då? Är det något jag missar eller? Hallå, jag vill inte förlora massa... Shit! Fuck it, vi går hit då. Okay, good key card. Thank you.
Demonic threat reduced by 50%.
Fuck sake, vart ska jag? Jag springer i cirklar. Men jag har hittat ett gult keycard. Det måste väl hjälpa med någonting eller? Blå. For fuck's sake.
Warning, core temperature rising.
Metal overload. Stay focused. Stay committed. Maximum multiplier. Metal overload.
Warning, core temperature rising.
Maximum multiplier. Maximum multiplier.
Demonic threat reduced by 75%.
UAC accidental death and dismemberment format. See Jessica for human resources. Your devotion to the UAC's mission on Mars is the foundation to our success. With you, we will establish a new era.
'Fan gick det där till?
Demonic presence reduced to minimum safe levels. Lockdown disengaged. Turbine room doors now open. The core temperature is now stabilized.
Nice.
Ramp up to PS5. Like, does that mean if they have an event in February, like, what are they going to talk about? And does that just mean they don't have much to talk about throughout the rest of the year? I think that would then make sense for them to not do February and do something that is closer to PS5, whether it is like, you know, May, and then you have those 6-ish months to ramp up it and have marketing, do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still holding on to that, but I think right now PlayStation has been very unconventional as far as like what you would think a console launch would be from them.
Totally.
Like, I feel like PlayStation for the last couple years, right? Like, and we even talked about this on Games Daily today. PlayStation for me has been traditional PlayStation for the last couple of years, with like the exception of like the Wired articles for this console launch. But as far as like, you know, kind of not appearing at E3 and kind of like playing their cards close to their chest and like the whole cross-play debacle, like you've kind of seen PlayStation revert to like old PlayStation, like early PS3 PlayStation. That's been a worry. But right now, it seems like they're just like doing their own thing entirely in a way that I can't really put myself in the headspace of what they're thinking. Like, what are the like. What is the approach here? Because they could put out another Wired article that just has more information, you know, in February, right? Or they could do an event, or they could do a state of play. Like, the options are on the table.
The closer we get to this, and now having this officially confirmed they're not coming to E3, I feel you're not going to get a February event. I think that's too early. And I think the February event, as we said, right, has been superseded by these Wired articles. So the February event, if you don't read the script of what Mark Cerny says on the stage at the February event, right, it reads like the Wired article. In terms of like haptic triggers, and here's how we're load times and this, that, and the other, right? To get to a February event, I don't think you're gonna reveal the name that early. I don't think you're gonna reveal pricing that early. I feel like you let it cook closer to E3. I don't think you do during E3. Because the whole point of this is you want to own the moment. You want it to be yours. And so like, then you think May probably, right? To get out in front of all that and do something.
Extra life acquired.
I'm very interested because I feel like for them last time around, going up directly against Xbox worked entirely to their favor.
Exactly.
That was the thing for them where Microsoft came through. They tripped up on the messaging. They tripped up on the pricing. They tripped up on multiple fronts. PlayStation being the same day. I think it was the same day.
Yeah. It was,
later in the day.
Well, no, it was the next day.
The next day.
Yeah.
Was Microsoft
Wasn't
Sunday?
it wrong?
I feel like
No, you're right. It was Monday. I'm confusing it.
Because
You're
Microsoft
right.
changed to Sunday over the course of this
You're
year.
100% correct.
But yeah, I think it was Monday morning. Microsoft goes.
Yeah.
And they, you know, put out all the information. People were like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then Monday night hit. PlayStation bust out the price, all this stuff, right? And I remember vividly the Jack Tretton's where, you know, as that works so well to their favor in a way where I'm shocked that they are getting away from E3 when that works so well for them for PS4.
And theoretically, opening themselves up, right? If they have their event and they own the day anywhere for Microsoft's press conference, they get to come out and they get to dunk on that. Phil gets to come out and say, you might have seen this, but this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it.
And I feel like this time around that is like a real fear, right? Like, you know, Microsoft has learned from their mistakes. They have been correcting those mistakes over the course of the whole console generation, right? They've been building up to this moment. And so for PlayStation to possibly go first, you know, with like the big dump of information, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
Or even like, you know, there's
Or a little dump.
maybe it's just a bunch of little dumps could also happen.
Yeah.
I'm just curious on kind of where their head is at with that. I'm also interested in them saying they're hundreds of consumer events to showcase upcoming games for PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
Did they do that for PS4? I feel like they did like a travel around thing. Or am I thinking of PSVR?
Well, I mean, they do travel. I mean, they go to a bunch of different shows. They have that PlayStation truck that they drove around.
Yeah.
They had all the stuff, but they have other titles.
Did they not do that for PS4 also? Or am
I don't remember at the launch of PlayStation 4. I don't remember there being a big pre-launch PlayStation 4. I don't remember there being a big like, hey, come on, play it here.
Yeah, I'm just curious if this is a thing that they've already done before, and they are just, this is just them doing that again, or if this is going to be something bigger and greater, where they are like, hey, every major city, we're hitting places up. We are really going hard with interacting with the community. Like, what does something like that even look like? And is that even the right?
And lip service is my biggest question.
Yes.
It's just the 100 smaller event, and it's the same thing you'd expect. Where at PAX they have that giant PlayStation area, and it's all PlayStation 4 stuff. Because you won't be till you're not gonna see a PlayStation 5 game out there until they've done their big reveal, right? Until they've gone out of their way to make a giant moment of that.
So, since press isn't going to be able to go to E3 and play PS5 games,
right?
Do you think Sony then just like? Do you think Sony has private events for press, or do you think they like visit different?
I think that they basically are going to do their PlayStation 4 conference. Like what would be their E3 conference? They're going to live stream that and do it somewhere. And even if maybe it's a state of play where it is. It's going to be a packaged full-on video, but yeah, press will be invited the exact same day to come watch it somewhere and then go play it right away. Like that's how you have to do it, and it gets so interesting of when do you do that, because it is always. I immediately start trying to put it all together of how you do this, right? If I'm doing this and I'm skipping E3, I don't think they want to be part of E3, so I don't think they want to do the PlayStation Studio thing Saturday night, leading into E3. Everybody goes in the morning, they go in the evening. They're right there. I guess you could, and it would make sense that everybody's around there. If you did May, you could do Judges Week, do an event in Santa Monica, right, where it is like, all right, cool, we're showing all our stuff there. But even that is usually tied for either ways around it. I guess if you just threw an event at night, I'm going to say no to going to that. But yeah, where you get it out, how you reveal it, is the big question.
Do you think this is the right move?
That's another great question, Blessing.
We can't really tell right now.
Here's the biggest thing about it, is that with everything they're doing, including skipping stream, the way they're rolling it out, and everyone's like, this is not traditional, this is not the normal way to do it, right? I feel like they're saying, like, we've moved 160 million units to the PlayStation 4, right? Like, we have this generation by the balls, we're gonna have the next one by the balls. And it's that fine line, right, between being confident and cocky. Are they gonna blow up in their face?
Yeah. Because 2019, I think that makes sense, right, for them to skip E3. Yeah. Because, it's just like what you just said, right? This generation, they really want it, and
they won it a long time ago.
Yeah, they want to
the scoreboards, you can play the scoreboard forever ago.
Yeah, and like Last of Us Part 2 is going to sell itself, right? Those Tsushima that, you can get that, you can show that game off, and it doesn't have to be at E3 to show that off, right? Like, you really only have a few games that you're showing off right now for the PS4 that doesn't warrant an E3 press conference. I personally would like them to have, I would have liked them to have done an E3 press conference last year, and like put more focus on smaller games, like other things that are going on, but I understand why they wouldn't. This year, it's easier to focus on PS5, marketing new consoles, doing all this stuff. Like, it's very shocking to me, and I can't say yet whether or not it's a good move, but I'm not necessarily thrilled by it.
So are you talking from a hype level you're not thrilled about it?
From what this is going to do for the PS5. Like,
maximum multiplier.
And honestly, it just depends on like what they do instead, right? Like that's most of the thing I'm without the filters. Just more wired articles and the way they do get out.
I think Tom should get one more wired article before there is a here's your invitation, or even if your invitation in quotes is a blog post that's just like PlayStation 5 revealed this day, this time, just.com.
I think for me it's the things that right now I'm not writing off their strategy, but I am slightly worried about them not showing up E3 because I just want more information, right? It kind of has me.
Well, you're gonna get it. Yeah, right? That's the thing. I feel there's so many different parts of this. So like, E3 is awesome. E3 my entire gaming life, right, has been this treasure trove. It's Christmas Day. My career covering it is amazing to be there and have that electricity in the air, right? But I think you even look at how how we cover the conferences, right? Like, it's fundamentally changed in the 13 years I've been here.
Yeah.
Right? And so for us to stay home and watch the conferences here and live react here, PlayStation sees that, right? And so why are they paying the exorbitant boost price for this thing that is poorly run and poorly managed, apparently? Why are they, putting themselves in a situation where it is, hey, let's fight for everybody's attention and let's have people run lanes and demos and let's have them, right? They want everybody in one spot that's there for them. And so that's the way to do it with this event, right? If there's going to be an event.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the thing that worries me about that is, when you look at the GamesIndustry.biz article, right, you have the headline, which is PlayStation will not participate in E3, and then the subtitle, which is the company will instead attend hundreds of consumer events across the globe. Their messaging is E3, their E3 conference is being replaced with these consumer events, which makes me think, like, I'm sure, I mean, that definitely doesn't rule out the idea of them doing a PlayStation 5 event, but just the phrasing of instead they're, the company will do hundreds of consumer events makes me think that, for me, reading it makes me think that, oh man, maybe they won't, like,
they have to. They have to. There's no way you couldn't.
What if they do like a video similar to what Nintendo
State of Play.
State of Play?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and hey, in these 10 cities, we've got a truck where people can come and play it.
Right.
During the same time that E3 is happening. I feel like that would be like such a strong, like, if Xbox is talking about what's coming, PlayStation could be like, hey, we're showing, like, people are playing, and it's not just now reporters that are reporting on it, or, like, media that's reporting on it. It could be people actually tweeting about how much they like it.
You cannot do
Did
this.
they put out a press release with this, or is this just coming
Not
from...
this is all from GamesIndustry.biz at the moment. Still no blog post that I'm finding. Yeah, and Twitter has nothing on it.
Because I want to see how they
phrase what
correctly
they say.
message it. Because if they message it with saying that, like, hey, like, instead we're doing all, like, these different events, that makes me think they're going to do a state of play and then just like these events. Like, that makes me think that they're not actually going to do like a big PS5 event that press comes to and we like sit down, they do all that stuff on the stage. Like, this seems to be the way that they're letting people get their hands on the hardware is through these events. And how they message the PS5 details, right? I imagine it's a state of play, and maybe one more wire article before that. And that's just me judging from just the wording here. Yeah.
I'm with you. I definitely can see it being that, hey, we're doing State of Play, it's going to reveal PlayStation 5, but then I think the press are invited to go play somewhere. You still need that, right? I don't know. It's like, IGN's like, we got a truck or whatever, and you each square to go fucking play this.
Do you think it could be like the Last of Us Part 2 event, where last September it was a State of Play to get out? I mean, they did all the they showed off all the games, right? And then the Last was to end it. But it could be a State of Play that's specifically focused on the PS5, right? Get all the information out that way, and then the same day, at a certain location, press are playing the PS5,
100%.
doing all that stuff.
That's exactly how I think you do it. And I mean, based on what we're spitballing here and figuring out how, based on what they've done recently, right, in the last year, whether it be this, whether it be when they had stuff at Game, or when Germany happened and they had an event for all the German games that were happening, when I went and played, Days Gone for 3 hours or whatever as a preview, like, that is definitely the way. They already have that infrastructure built in of bringing people from around the world, like for Last of Us, to one spot to go all play it. I'd imagine that's what you do, where, yeah, it is, the press, the undisclosed amount of press you want to bring, you have it all there, and there's all these different PlayStation 5 set up with different games and different demos.
If they go about it that way, do you think that is the right decision as opposed to doing the E3 route?
Well, paired with this, I mean, like, because they're doing two different things here, right? And
Yeah.
the industry article talks about, like, PlayStation's on the camp of wanting E3 to be more like a PAX and more open to everybody and more of a thing. I think it's so impossible. Because I remember last year, right, with the wow, jumping around, like, when they announced they weren't going to E3. And it was this conversation, and I remember what I kept saying was, it might pay off that they don't go, because everyone sits around that E3 and goes, man, it sucks that PlayStation's not here. You know what I mean? Oh, there was that. I think PlayStation didn't have much to show last year. They would have been showing games for super long, so that's why they back off of it, right? I think this year it's the same thing, and especially if they go big before. And again, like, if you go before, and I'm still saying you want as much time as you want, so I'm saying May. You go in May, right? You do the State of Play that shows it, gets everybody hyped. You do the press event there, everybody's there, and think about that, for 4 hours, maybe, I mean, if it's an event somewhere off-site, maybe like New York or whatever, you're going and you're maybe even staying over, so it's like 8 hours of just playing PlayStation 5, just fucking around with the controller. You know, I sit down and I'm getting a rundown of what the new PSN looks like and how that shit happens. That is time. That is a resource we're always running out of, and at E3 you do not have that time. At E3, right, it is, you send one person, 2 people over to Xbox, they play as much as they can, they come back with like demos and impressions they've done. They did 7 different games, they got 10 minutes with each one of them, then they had to run to their next appointment. It's all kind of garbled. Like, I feel like you could have a very interesting setup of coming in, if you do this, preload it beforehand, all this stuff happens before with the press, let alone the fact that, like Kevin's saying, it is that they do this in May, here's before E3, the trucks are rolling out. You can play it throughout this summer all over the place, right? Like, it is actually out there for you to go play the game as a normal person. And then press goes into E3, and it is, I am running around seeing a million Nintendo games and Xbox games, but I'm only getting 30 minutes with Nintendo, and I only played one thing, and Tim only played one thing. And we're talking about our impressions, especially for Xbox, then, of what's coming in the next generation. Suddenly you have reporters who went and have 10 games they're super stoked for on PlayStation 5 versus the few they got to play at E3 and eke out of this conversation and argument.
Interesting. I'm on the edge of my seat with this news. I'm still not convinced that this is like a great thing, but I don't think it's good.
What did you think of last year's thing? Because that was the thing. It was a big gamble. Do you think it paid off with them skipping E3? Do you think it was a good call last year, 2019?
I mean, I'm mixed with it. I think overall, like, for Sony and what Sony like is right now, I think it was a good move for them because like there's no reason for them to show up to. There was no reason for them to show up to E3. You know, like the only reason that they would go is if they want to advertise a bunch of other games on their platform. Which I mean, I think could be great, but at the same time, like they don't miss out on much. And so yeah, last year I don't think them missing out on E3 is a huge deal. I think this year, this year obviously is a huge deal, but at the same time, like, it being a huge deal doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. But I'm also, like, not necessarily... We'll see how it pans out. That's kind of where I'm right now.
Demonic presence.
It's a fascinating time right now.
It is. I'm very excited for what this year is going to be, because and this is the thing, this is the conversation we've also had on KFG today, but me and Tim were kind of talking about how, and I think this might have been a post show, I think this was the post show that we were talking about. Yeah, there you go. We were talking about how the PS5 strategy and the Xbox Series X strategy is going to be very different, seemingly, especially coming off of the news that Xbox isn't going to have generational exclusives starting off, right? Like, Halo Infinite will be on Xbox One, and also be on PC, right? And there's not really going to be any game for the first year or so, right? First year or two, I think, that is going to only be on Xbox Series X. And me and Tim kind of had the conversation of, like, that makes sense for Microsoft, because Microsoft is all about getting people into their ecosystem right now. They're all about the Xbox brand and having people engage with that brand, not necessarily just buy the box. Whereas PlayStation is all about getting people to buy the box. Like, they're all about, having these fantastic exclusives that sell PlayStation 5, which I think, for the conversation that we just had about 2013 and that E3 and PlayStation kind of getting into Xbox during that E3 press conference, this time around, I feel like something like that is very much less likely to happen, because they're kind of less directly opposed than they've ever been, seeing how Xbox has been operating lately. And so, like, this year, I'm very excited to see what this year is, because I feel like we're going to see very different strategy. You're going to see a very different strategy from Xbox for sure. For PlayStation, I feel like you're going to see kind of how they react or don't react to that, right? Like, does Sony still see themselves in direct competition with Xbox? And is that part of why they're not going to E3? Or, like, is this them react to that being like, well, we don't necessarily need to be at E3 because at this point, like, we know our launch, we know our games lineup, right? We know our studios, we know the quality of PlayStation, we know all this stuff, right? And so, like, we can just do our thing and we'll be fine. I think it's the latter. Really?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, not the former. Where I think you said it in there, right? Is that I think PlayStation thinks of themselves in another vertical, in another ecosystem, in another like world, right? Where it's still video games, obviously, but I when they think of their competitors, I don't know who they're thinking of anymore. And I know that sounds goofy. It's clearly they're thinking of Xbox. They talk about Xbox, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that like it's this weird thing where both Xbox and PlayStation are doing traditional things and then totally non-traditional stuff. Where PlayStation's entire rollout of this is so bizarre and strange. We're like, why is it unwired? What are you doing? And meanwhile, Xbox is doing the exact beats you'd expect. I didn't expect Game Awards.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was probably the one surprising one.
But like it is like the normal thing where hey, there's a giant stage, so guess what? There's probably gonna be something from Xbox there. Whereas like there's a giant stage, PlayStation won't be there. They're not gonna do that. That's not what's gonna happen. And so you have that, but then on the tech side, like what they're actually building, right? Xbox is being super weird and non-traditional all. Like, first year at least, you don't have to worry about exclusives. It's not like that. Your Xbox One X will play games that were intended for the Xbox Series X, vice versa.
Yeah.
Crazy and awesome and rad. But like I said, months ago when we were talking about this, I'm like, I saw Xbox doing that, right? I was like, that's what they're going to do. They want this Xbox ecosystem you're talking about. Whereas PlayStation is not. PlayStation 5 games are not going to work on PlayStation 4, right? And it's a big part of why they use the same numbering scheme, I'm sure, is that you understand that.
It's a different thing.
At a glance, you get it. I'm like, oh, that's a higher number. That's a different PlayStation. I know what that means. We've all been doing this long enough, even if you're buying stuff for your kid, right? So now to see that, and that's what they're going to pimp it as, and again, it's like Spider-Man doesn't load, and all this different stuff they're throwing out there. Like, that is so traditional PlayStation, right? Like, you know what I mean? But it's now this avenue of how are they going to deliver that information? I think, as we've talked about today, like, I wouldn't be shocked, but I do think it's going to be a state of play. They're going to be like, guess what? The PlayStation 5 state of play is coming. Because every time Sid puts up a state of play article on the blog, right? He's always like, here's what's going to happen tonight, and it needs to be noted, we will not talk about our next gen plans, right? Like, when they're finally like, hey, state of play is coming on Wednesday, the whatever, and guess what, everybody? It's all PlayStation 5. That'll be huge, and it'll again, everyone's going to stop and all eyes on it. And then it will be like, where do you go to play it? That's the question. But they've already kind of handled that in terms of, well, yeah, if you go to the big PlayStation event, we're going to throw in Santa Monica or whatever, and if you don't go to that, we'll be at PAX. This is announced, like PAX West. I would imagine they're going to have fucking demos for PlayStation 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be ridiculous.
They got to, yeah. So, what's your final prediction for when that would happen? Like, when will we see the PlayStation 5 state of play press go out? I also say May.
I say May. I think it makes sense because you want as much headway as possible. You don't want to do, you don't want to do E3 if you're not doing E3.
Yeah.
Let alone you don't want to go after E3. Like, right? Like, there's always that hangover after E3 where it's like, oh, we have all this new stuff and what we're going to do. Not to mention that, so think about that. June is E3 if you're waiting till you want to do the week after E3. So now we're talking about mid to late June. You're going to talk about something you're probably launching in November. No way. You can get that out earlier than that. But again, May. I think he's going to mid-May, late May. If Judges Week is going down as usual, then I would think you do it around then so that you have, again, already. I don't think it doesn't matter. You fly people all over the place.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I'm into it. I like the PS2 shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I see you. My favorite console. You're wearing the shirt that I couldn't get.
The Seattle PlayStation pack shirt. I love it. It's like my favorite video game theme shirt. It's a great shirt. Such a great design.
I went over there, final day of PAX, and they're like, are you kidding me? No, we sold out of that day one.
Oh yeah, I didn't even stay one.
God damn it. There it is. You're one shot.
Oh yeah. And it says Seattle, Washington. That's where I live before this.
So it makes sense for you, right?
Yeah, it makes sense for me personally.
You know what I would also love about this is fucking bring back PSX.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about doing all these hundreds of events. That's rad. I get it. Go to where the people are. Go to the things that are already established. But it also would have been fucking dope as shit if this was a blog post. We're not going to E3. You're getting an event in May, and guess what? It's happening at PSX.
Like PSX, as in, you're not talking about December. You're talking about doing.
Well, I think you can do whatever, but I would do it. I still think that would be the fucking most raucous crowd you've ever heard in your life.
They didn't
bring it back to PSX. We're doing it in May.
Okay.
And it's going to be the reveal of PlayStation 5.
Gotcha.
And then afterwards, we roll up the doors. You can go play those games alongside all the indies and VR and all the different stuff we're bringing to PlayStation.
That would be awesome. That would be amazing.
Yeah. But to your point, that's old PlayStation.
Do you think they'll ever do PSX ever again?
I do think they'll do PSX
again,
but
PSX is awesome.
Yeah.
And I imagine super successful for them.
I hope so. You never know. The fact that they didn't do it and they kind of just stopped. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of events are hard. It's hard to make turn a nice profit out of it. And especially because now you can just make a video, make it rewatch it on YouTube, and you just did everything that happened, right?
Yeah. And you make profit off it.
Sorry, what was that?
And you make profit off it.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say PSX will be back. It's not this year. Even next year, I don't see it happening.
Why not next year? Because I feel like that's when the years are really going and you have games to talk about and announce all that stuff. Not even announce, but games for people to check out. Because that would be 2021, end of 2021 if it's in December.
Yeah.
And you imagine by that time, like Spider-Man 2, possibly God of War 2, like.
I don't know. I feel like as slow as the ship, it felt like was to turn from being the hungry, crazy PlayStation, you know, in 2013, that was like, here's how you share games. We're fucking ducking on everybody. Hey, you know what I mean? I have a Chico and everybody's on stage. But as slow as it was to turn away from that, hey, we're putting personality and everything, to where it is now of like, hey, there's a Wired article and Disembodied Voice tells you about games, and that's it. And we're not doing anything else that we're pretty organized. I just feel like it would be equally as slow to turn back to, hey, we're doing that. Not to mention, like, you know, we're talking about all these interesting choices in the choices, and, you know, skipping E3 again, right? Doing another state of play because they've been doing it. You have to imagine for them, whatever the metrics of success are, they're hitting them, if not exceeding them.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep doing it this way. And why it is the idea of, like, you know, they faded everybody away to where, you know, you don't see, like, remember that GameStop that was awesome where she came on stage and sat in a big chair and hit the PlayStation button and then played Little Big Planet, I think? Like, oh yeah, that was rad, but that's not how it is anymore. And it's fun, and there's no Jack Tretton, and Sean Layton's gone. It's just like, you got a brand now. We have a brand. That's what you worship.
I just miss it.
I do too. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, I love it.
And like part of my hope was that okay, it's the end of the generation. You know, like you said, they don't necessarily need to do these things at this point.
Yeah.
And so that kind of makes me hope that beginning of next generation, you start to see them bust out, you know, different weird ideas, right? Bring back PSX, you know, bring back the personalities, even though now they're pretty much all gone.
Well, no, yeah. She was in the indie now. Greg Rice is over in the indies. You got people.
Yeah.
Herman Olsen. Yeah, Herman comes out with a giant thing of beer from Amsterdam, just going on. Yeah. He's out. God, no, please. Here's the question I have for you, Lesson, Eddie Oye. And it's going to sound like the most loaded Sony pony question I could possibly ask. Do you think, is there enough gas in the world, Xbox's tank period, to come out and this start of this generation do the Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant slam and like knock PS4 on its ass at announcement level? Because the only way these things will happen, well, I'd love to see personalities, and I'd love to see this. The only way that happens is they have to be bested. Right now they're running this race unopposed almost, where it's just like, we're doing what the fuck we want and everybody else will follow us.
I mean, I think there's issues. And here's my thing, right? This is another conversation me and Tim were having on the post show for KMGD. I think both Sony and Microsoft are doing the right thing, right? Like Sony's doing the right thing, you know, by like they have the right strategy by having great exclusives that sell their boxes, and you know that's their thing is they want to sell boxes, and if that works for them, and that's great. And that gives me great games. So like, do your thing, I'm happy, right? Xbox is doing the right thing by being like, hey, we're more than a box. We are services. We are the brand. We are games. We want to put our software wherever you want to get it, right?
Yeah.
If we can put it on Switch, we'll put it on Switch. If Sony would allow us to put it on PlayStation 5, hey, we would love to, but Sony's not going to let them do that. I think both are doing the right thing. I think the advantage that Microsoft has is that they're being like box-wise and software-wise and platform-wise, right? They're being so unconventional that you really don't know what's going to stick, right? They're being very experimental with how they treat this console launch so far. Like just looking at the games and like the cross-gen and stuff, and essentially what Xbox is coming to be. You know, Xbox Game Pass, all this stuff, right?
Game Pass, xCloud, right?
Yeah. And you were even talking about the leasing thing, right? Where you can buy an Xbox and pay for it monthly as opposed to paying for it upfront, right? Like just those little ticks right there can carry them, I think, a long way. You know, because they're giving people so many options and so many ways to play Xbox. Like I know there are a lot of people that are like, well, I'm not gonna get an Xbox because I can just play all these games on PC. I don't think Microsoft cares that much. I think Microsoft would be. I think they're excited about people that want to play their games on PC because for them that is still Xbox, right? I think like you literally open up an Xbox app on your computer if you want to play Xbox games on PC. I'm pretty sure. And so I think with all that happening and Sony kind of Sony being Sony, you know, and somewhat right now being cocky Sony, but at the same time like powerful Sony because they have great games. Like I could see it going either way, but I wouldn't totally discount Xbox just coming through and taking the lead.
My thing is this. I have talked about it multiple times on other shows, right, where I legitimately think of myself as an Xbox fanboy because I want them to do well. I love the programs they're doing. Xbox Pass is such a phenomenal value, right? There's all these different things and programs and whatever they're doing, but I just don't know if I can wrap my head around what they're going to do when they at E3 come out and talk about Series X, you know what I mean, their next box, the Scarlet and all that jazz, that would make everybody go, oh, this is where I'm playing this time around. I think if you're on the wavering part of it where you're like, oh man, I've been thinking, like, I have a PlayStation 4, I've been thinking about giving an Xbox a chance, right? And you hear the announcements they're doing and what they're talking about in Game Pass and xCloud and all that jazz, I would feel like you'd be more inclined to buy the PlayStation 5 and then buy an Xbox One X of some variety that can play the games. It gets you in the ecosystem, sure, but even when you're in the ecosystem, I don't know if that's enough to make it your everyday machine versus a PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm kind of on both sides with it, because for Xbox, right, like the idea of them coming through and like knocking PlayStation on their ass, the reason why I wouldn't necessarily think so is because that's not what they're looking to do, right? Like, you know, 2013, that was the goal for each other, right? Microsoft wanted to be the number one platform, PlayStation wanted to be the number one platform, so you're going against each other, and one will stand victorious, whereas right now I think both can stand victorious doing with their individual strategies and still like both come out on top.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't necessarily like for that side of things I don't necessarily see that happening. But at the same time, I just love how I like how unconventional Xbox is being with how they're treating their platform, and I think that goes a long way, right? And I think people like right now with how things are framed, that doesn't necessarily lead to them overtaking Sony, but I think that does lead to them just being more interesting and maybe even slowly bringing people into their platform as they're seeing all these different options and seeing all these different ways to play, right? Especially if Xbox gets on Switch or any other platform that they can get on, right? Like more people will funnel in, and you could see things like this is what I can see, right? I can see at the beginning of the generation, right? PS5 outsells Xbox Series X by a ton, right? Because PlayStation already has that audience. PlayStation has the games that I imagine that they'll talk about this year, right? Yeah. But toward the end of the PS5, Xbox Series X generation, if even Xbox wants to look at it as a generation, I can see it being the PS3 thing where they catch up towards the end because over time people have just been funneling in because they've been seeing those options, seeing Xbox Game Pass, and like, oh, I can get that and have thousands of games. Yeah. I think that scenario is kind of likely for me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be interested as 2020 continues to unravel.
Yeah. Exciting year.
Right? Yeah.
It's the right year for kind of playing games 4.0.
Yeah, you picked a good time to bring back games. I love you. I wanted to point that out today when we were talking about a bunch of
Dude, wait, what luck? Right? Like last week it was the PS5 logo, which was like right after we recorded, but
we still put it in the thumbnail.
Yeah, still have that.
That was right too. CPS nothing.
I mean,
the logo, they put a 5 on it. Big deal.
But that's still, I think Blu-ray. Come on.
True.
I'm just saying. Well, I think what you said was nothing new.
No, I said nothing super news. I said you get something. Okay, something new. If anybody wants to, by the way, if you're watching live, I have contemplate.com/you're-wrong. You can go there live directly. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is PSI Love You XOXO. Each and every week, Blessing and myself get together to talk about all things PlayStation. If you like that, you should be part of the show. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames. You can go there too. Get your questions in, get the show ad-free, get it early, including watching watching while we record it in case anything else breaks. You can also get it then over there on patreon.com/kindafunnygames with the exclusive post-show. Today we're going to be talking about PlayStation skipping E3, Peace Walker impressions, and more, of course. Remember that patreon.com/kindafunnygames keeps the mics on, so go there to get your questions on the show. Ad-free, I already talked about all that stuff. Remember, too, that when this goes up, of course, youtube.com/kindafunnygames. It's got ads there, no post-show. Same thing with podcast services around the globe. Worth pointing out and saying, thank you so much for your support. You're all a bunch of crazy people.
Oh my
Case
God.
I love you. XOXO crushed last week.
I've never seen my Twitter notifications just go and go and go. People being like, oh, sweet, like, PS I Love You's back, and people being super positive and super encouraging and super well receiving of it. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Even though I am distraught about one tweet I saw
What
that
was
kept me up very late. It was, I forget the name, the Twitter handle, but it was the same person that came through, and they were like, this Bless guy seems really cool, but he needs to get his PlayStation cred up. And I read that, and I was like, listen, alright?
Mr. hasn't played Horizon.
I've done what normal PlayStation personalities have not done.
Don't start throwing stones for your Don't start.
I beat Persona 5. I'm just saying.
You beat it? You didn't just play like...
No, I played
35 hours.
I played 120 hours with Persona 5.
That's a lot.
A big PlayStation exclusive that came out in 2017. Something more than certain PlayStation personalities are willing to do. That's all I'm saying.
Times as much.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Did you play Nier Automata, Craig?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I did all the endings. Not all the endings, all the major endings. But I did play it.
You're one of the-
And at the time, it was a PlayStation exclusive, even though it's on Xbox now. But at the time,
Is that good?
oh god, it's probably my top 10 for this generation. Yeah. The thing is, it's really weird. It takes some effort to get into. But once you're into it, like, you're really into it. Like, the story
I've
is...
seen a lot of cosplay people do that outfit.
Oh, the 2D outfit?
I don't know.
The main character, like, the Bane-looking...
Yeah.
That's 2D.
Does her butt hang out as much as the cosplayers' butts do? Because there's usually one with the skirt on, and they take the skirt off.
A little bit, yeah. But, like,
You know what I'm talking about? Big turn.
Just Google it.
I don't know. But is there a costume in the game where her butt's hanging out?
I mean, I think that's just the main costume she wears, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's not like... let me look this up, because I don't remember...
Sounds like a good game.
I don't remember seeing her butt that much, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure... I'm pretty sure that...
Find her name or the name of the series. I don't know which one it is.
Nier Automata?
And then write naked.
No, I'm not writing that.
You won't regret it. I promise you.
What? I'm pretty sure there's a trophy where if you, like, angle the camera to, like, look up her skirt, I think that might be a trophy. And I think that got some controversy.
Yeah, I think it did too. I know you're a pervert. You know,
Hey, man.
I get a fight him,
It had a great story.
Did you get the fight in it?
No, I didn't.
He was working his way there.
I mean, I wasn't really even thinking about the platinum. I think that was the game where you could, like, buy the platinum. But,
Okay, well, this is official merchandise. So is that out in the game somewhere?
maybe.
That's the one I see all the cosplays.
Wow, that game, if that outfit's in the game, I gotta play some more.
I gotta get a replay.
I gotta go get another ending. That's not way dirtier than that match.
It works. It works either way you want to play, so don't worry about it. Remember, yeah, like I said, the podcast is up there. You guys are counting on iTunes. If we were on #1 on Leisure for like multiple days. Please, if you are out there using podcast, go on and give us a like, subscribe, share, leave a review, 5 stars, all that jazz. If you hate the show, don't bother. Don't do that at all. Man, we already did 44 minutes.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that for a
show.
while.
I love just fucking bullshit.
And we have like a million segments to go.
It's fine. That's what the show's all about. Today, speaking of butts, we're brought to you by MeUndies. But I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's start with what you playing. What you playing, Butts?
So I finished Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. I really enjoyed that game. I don't know if I'm at the level that a lot of people were when the game originally came out. Like,
Okay.
I'm not necessarily...
Did you get to the moon?
No, I don't think you can go to the moon in that game. I think you lied to me. Kevin last week was saying that the game takes place on the moon, and the whole time I was like, does it? Like, if somebody says that this is the moon, I'm totally in. I'm sold.
Turned out they just terraformed the moon. You like see the Earth.
Yeah, I'm like,
that'd be awesome.
yo, this is wild.
Yeah.
Can't believe this is the moon. I wasn't necessarily blown away by Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, for me, it was...
Do you think it's one of those things where, as often is the case, the hype was so loud that you sat down like, oh, this is going to be amazing?
Yes, 100%. Like, I think because, like, coming off the game, like, after finishing, I'm like, oh, this game's, like, really great. Like, I absolutely love the visuals, the designs of the machines, the designs of the enemies, like, visually and style-wise, I think the game knocks it out of the park. I think the game also knocks it out of the park in terms of combat with the machines and story. The story, really good.
Yeah, right?
I got really into the story, more so than I'd say most video game stories. Like, I really like the world they built there. I really like the characters. There's a character you meet like halfway through the game who kind of sticks with you throughout the rest of the game. That character I really enjoyed, and I kind of liked where they kind of went with him. Yeah, like, I love so much of what Horizon had to do. I think the thing for me that kind of held it back a bit for me was some of the gameplay. Like, I didn't love navigating the open world. Like, I think the open world is beautiful, and I think they did a decent job with the quest system and all that stuff. But at the same time, just like riding around, I felt like I found myself doing the Skyrim thing where you're like sideways hopping up a hill. I found myself doing that.
Did that. I remember those days.
Yeah.
Break stuff, or trying not to get up as quick as possible.
Yeah, and
And not having that Breath of the Wild moment, right, where you're supposed to do this.
Yeah, right. It'd be one of those things where I'm following the waypoints, because they have like a pretty good waypoint system where if you highlight your main quest, it'll essentially cookie crumb you along, right?
Yeah.
And kind of place like where you need to go on the path in order to get to the actual final waypoint, because the open world is vast and can get complicated to navigate if you don't know like places where you need to climb or certain paths you need to go down. But also because of that, for some reason, like I would have those waypoints not necessarily be clear as to how I get up a hill, and so I'll find myself being like, am I supposed to sideways jump up this place? And so I found myself doing that, and that was a little bit frustrating. And then also, just everything, I said this last episode, but just everything wants to kill you in a way where at a certain point I was like, please, can I just get to my destination without being attacked by whatever, right? A Ravager or whatever. Like, I found that frustrating. That was a thing that, I mean, I had the same exact issue with Far Cry 5 when I played it, and I know, like,
dude, Far Cry 5 was so into I was stuff.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, it was that of like, cool, I'm going to this mission. All right, this thing's attacking me. Oh, great, now the guy saw me, so I'm fighting, and it's just like 30 minutes of me just trying to survive to get to the mission.
Yeah, exactly. And I absolutely hate doing that. But I think there's a balance there to actually making that work, because that is part of that game, right? Part of that game is that all the machines are out to kill you because there's a thing going on, right? And that is like the conceit of it is dangerous to be out in the wilds because, you know, it's dangerous out there, right? These machines are killers. And so to be out there and for the machines to like want to kill you makes sense, but I think there's a balance there, right? Like I don't want to be held back trying to get from every A to B destination. And so that was a bit frustrating for me, but overall, like, I really liked it. I'm very excited for Horizon 2.
Yeah.
Right? Especially, like, in a world where that'll probably be a PS5 game. I'd like to... Hopefully. I'd like to see, like, what steps they take to make that game even better.
Did you do Frozen Wilds, or...?
No. Yeah, I didn't. Like, and I don't know if I will. I might take a break and then go back, because I'm thinking now about doing the Spider-Man DLC after we did the stream with Tim.
Yeah.
And so it might be one of those things where I take a break because I don't necessarily feel compelled to keep playing right now. But we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. I also played Peace Walker.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Together, didn't we?
We did play together.
We're living the dream, man. That's it. What? So this is your first time playing Peace Walker, of course. In 2010, I reviewed it. Oh, was that?
You guys play together?
Yeah. We stayed
Where were
here
you, Kevin?
Friday afternoon. We played here. Had a great
I
time.
was looking at the new studio doing some measurements.
Oh man, that sucks. You had to keep
Yeah,
working.
it's unfortunate.
Because we had a great time.
Yeah, it was
beautiful. Work City out there.
Oh man, me,
City.
Greg, taking out helicopters.
Yeah.
With our
Helicopter.
With our what's the rocket launcher called? The Wall.
Yeah,
It's a great name for a rocket launcher.
The Wall?
The Wall.
Yeah.
Like you're laying down the wall.
Exactly.
Wow.
We laid on the wall in this helicopter.
sounds really
man.
fun.
That's best.
It was really fun.
Some kind of stuff we were doing.
Could have been funner or
Yeah,
more
man.
fun with the third person, but you
great.
know.
Yeah.
If only.
Yeah.
If only. What a great game.
Right?
Yeah, playing it actively made me upset that I didn't play it on PSP in 2010.
Yeah.
Because I could see myself getting lost in that game, having it handheld, and having friends that play that game.
Totally.
Because, like, for me, for me, Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games ever. And somehow it just totally missed me that Peace Walker came out and it was a sequel to Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I missed that, but I did. And I didn't realize how much Phantom Pain took from Peace Walker. Phantom Pain is another Metal Gear Solid game that I absolutely love. Like, even the story in Phantom Pain, I liked it, even though it's incomplete. But, you know, going back to Peace Walker and kind of seeing those roots for what Phantom Pain would become, and at the same time, like, seeing how well Peace Walker works on its own, like, just being a game where you go out and run missions, and, you know, you do the Colton thing of, like, gathering more soldiers to your mother base and being able to build out from there and assigning different soldiers to different tasks. All that stuff even seems way more manageable in Peace Walker than in Phantom Pain, which I really like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in Phantom Pain, you had a lot more roles in which your soldiers could be assigned to, and I just feel like you didn't, like, for me, I didn't really care about any of that stuff until it got to, like, a certain mission where you kind of had to care about that stuff. But even that, I was kind of like, all right, whatever. In this game, I feel like they make it a lot easier and a lot more manageable to be like, okay, yeah, this guy is going to be in medical, this girl is going to be out in the field, this person is doing this person is doing that, and I don't feel like it's work in any way. Like, especially with the auto assign button. It's like, I don't even if I didn't want to think about it, I don't have to think about it.
The thing about Peace Walker that I think resonated in 2010 and resonates now when you play it is that it's digestible in every sense of the word, and I don't mean that in like a way to brush it off or anything.
Yeah.
Insult it. I mean in the way that I like doing all of it, like all the micromanagement in between missions.
Yeah.
Of like, all right, let's go through and assign everybody where they are. You know, my teams have come back from deployment, so I need to see who died or who got hurt and then send them back out to do another mission. I need to get my research team working on this thing. Like, there's all these little things to keep you going, and then you jump back to missions.
And it just seems like it would work so well handheld. I'm so mad I didn't play it back.
My thing is that I'm heartbroken with it because, yeah, like, I want to keep... this is all I played this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am definitely off the wagon, crazy about Peace Wagon.
You going for that?
Peace Walker against Peace Wagon.
You going for that platinum?
I've been burned by Metal Gear Platinum before. All right. I've drank so much of the Peace Walker Kool-Aid that yes, I'm very interested in trying to get the platinum. And the hope would be that when I do that, I go back to Phantom Pain and try to stop what broke me. Well, remember when we looked at it last week? We looked.
Got it.